Welcome to this segment of Soul, Silence, and Sound. This is brought to you by BeSimply.
Stars, trees, clouds, and the moon. They all have a meaning and they look just like you.
Welcome to the segment of Soul and Lunar Cycles brought to you by BeSimply. This is part of our weekly program of Soul, Silence, and Sound. And this is Suzanne Toro. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here in this moment. And we are celebrating and listening still with the new moon. It arrived yesterday afternoon on my birthday, took the day off, and so we're going to dive into it today or whenever this broadcast meets you. Because the theme around this moon is really an invitation for each and every one of us that is ready and has the capacity to really start to cultivate and deepen emotional intelligence and self-governance. So what that means is that in this point in our evolution as conscious, evolving, transforming beings beyond physical, we have the opportunity to understand what it means to have emotional intelligence. Up until this point, during this current epoch on this earth plane, we have been living in a system that manipulates our emotions on a daily basis. And this impacts our mental, our physical, our spiritual beings, all via our emotional body. And this is done in subtle ways, overt ways. And then we're like a little bit of a popcorn gallery, because as soon as one person's emotions are challenged, then maybe they impose it upon another person and so forth. So basically, we've been raised and evolving in a place where people, places, and things do not want you to govern your emotions and your being. And the reason it's so easy to enter in on the emotional body, heart center, and the mental is because these are receptor areas. That's why people that are very empathic can feel people's suffering. Yet that can take over your entire system if one is not careful in understanding how to help themselves first. And then when they have their sea legs, then there's a practice to be able to assist others. But there's really important, if the mind, the heart, the body, and the soul are not anchored and balanced, really it's important that you focus there before you do anything else. And that means that if you're having a lot of emotional turmoil, yet you're attempting to fix someone else's turmoil or take on their turmoil, it's really not serving anyone, and it'll become very convoluted. So now that people have become more and more aware and generations are enjoying having emotions, now it's time to welcome the intelligence to bring them into balance and harmony. Emotional intelligence is understanding that the emotions that you have, there's a wide variety of them, are meant to give you an indicator, that little light that says ding, 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 this is going on. And then you respond, and with your own self-governance, keep that emotion in check. You turn that light off. So it's not about being self-indulgent in emotions. It's about like, hey, I'm feeling stressed. It's a little ignition. And then one says, what are my best practices for that stress? It's not about letting that become a wild runaway train and then doing a bunch of things that don't serve those emotions. And in fact, will bring the physical, mental, spiritual body further out of balance if the individual does not respond to that little initial ding. This is a practice, and our collective consciousness together, we're all responsible here. And the good news is all you have to be responsible for is you. If you're all up in everybody else's business, turn it off. It's none of your business. Stay in your own lane. That's plenty to manage. That's plenty to master. And one by one, when each individual comes into their emotional intelligence and their ability to govern their eternal being, society starts to resonate at a higher level. And so how you'll know you're in the throes of moving away from the practice of emotional intelligence is if you're super reactive to external beings and what they do and what they represent, all those kinds of things. That's an indicator there is inner work there to look at. And it might be to move away from those things, meaning that if you're all the time up in politics and it gets you all charged up and it makes you miserable and angry, and it might be time to really get local, get micro, because that macro stuff is that way because the micro is not right. When the micro gets right for each and every person, where they are in it for themselves, in the sense that they're like, okay, I'm going to keep myself as a well-oiled machine for the benefit of all, then the collective consciousness starts to change. From a scientific perspective, for those that are looking at like our atmosphere and the geomagnetic field of the earth plane, one might blame that or point the finger at pollution or lots of different things. However, there's nothing that's fixed. And then also, I would say for you to contemplate that geomagnetic sphere that protects the earth plane is our collective consciousness. It is our collective input into our mind stream, our heart stream. And so right now, the big waters are inviting each and every one of you to the best of your capacity, the best of your ability in this moment, to start governing your emotions. And that intelligence word, there's a difference between intellect and intelligence, just like me talking about the geomagnetic field of the earth. If we look at it just scientifically, then it could be a bunch of equations. It could be perceptions of information that we don't really know how is being measured, even though I've studied this stuff for over a decade and a half with a friend that's a fearless leader in that world. But we don't really know, right? So that's intellect applying itself based on the resources that we have to examine. And there's a trust factor because there's monitoring systems that, again, I haven't gone down to the monitoring systems and done an audit on how they're taking this information, how they're receiving this information. So that's the intellect. The intellect's gathering data, it's processing, it's looking at it, and then it's making an analysis based on all of that data. The intelligence, emotional intelligence, is having a healthy, balanced relationship with the unexplainable, with the divine. It's not based on any theology at all. Meaning that I don't want to hear scriptures when I talk about this word because it doesn't have a language. Intelligence is something that's unexplainable that runs through each and every one of us, through nature, through your electromagnetic field. And when you become in governance of your eternal being, not your physical being, your eternal being, you will notice this bridge between your emotions in the physicality and your emotional intelligence that can assist you greatly so that you don't fall away to the manipulation that's been happening to each and every one of us through these electrical fields. And so that's how ideology gets spread, manipulating the emotional body. And then the emotional body informs the mental body, and the mind stream has a whole history of things that can be triggered by those emotions. And this is why it's so important to have a really good grasp on the emotional body and your emotional intelligence, because the areas that might get triggered, especially with certain emotions, you want to master those. For example, anger. The mastery there is patience. We're in the summer season here in the Northern Hemisphere, and this is about joy, mastering joy. People might be like, that's easy. It's a nuance that's very, very profound. And the mastering of the heart center is actually to understand joy from that intelligence place, from that divine place. And again, if we use words, all of a sudden it locks it in. And there are many little bits we can pull out. But that energy and that field of bliss or joy is what's governed through the heart. And if it's too much, it becomes manic. It becomes like a lovesick puppy in the springtime. Or it becomes absent, meaning the other emotions take over. Anger, despair, grief. The lowering the ignition on all these things that help us blend into this intelligent field. And so some people might use the word love in that field. Again, it's not words. It's a unexplainable field of energy that supports us. So as we enter into this watery season and fire season, I welcome each and every one of you to really look at what feelings and the main emotional bodies that you have not mastered. And it's going to be different for each and every one of you. And then from there, that's where the work becomes so important. Because imagine having a whole wheel of emotions and fields for any of you that have worked in a clinical situation or been visited or go to or a patient in a clinical setting for mental health. You'll see those wheels of emotions. We have a full spectrum of emotions that actually can help us or hinder us. They can keep us away from the divine intelligence of all that is and is not, or they can assist us in a way that is so magical, and you can transform it. And so this is where in nature we see this. I pointed out before, you don't see certain animals really carrying on a lot of baggage in the emotional body because they transmute it rather rapidly. Our domesticated animals are, having a relationship with us, so they become impacted by the fallibility of being a two-legged human being here in the earth plane, because we have a lot of attachments, and that grasping for perceptually positive emotions or diminishing emotions, lifting or diminishing, is what causes us suffering. So as we enter into this gateway, there will be a lot of distractions to keep you stuck in the mud with your emotional, three-dimensional physicality. Yet if you take it to the intelligence that runs through each and every one of us and decide if you want to allow yourself to be led by something unexplainable. And again, it's not blind faith. It's a two-way interaction with no words. There aren't words. There's no scriptures. There's nothing and everything. And that's why in meditation, when you go into that place, which is nothing and everything, you don't know you're there. Yet, the communication allows many miraculous things to occur. So we could sit around and pontificate left, right, and center about existence. Yet, if we don't have a motivation to transform, evolve, and to allow our consciousness to resonate at a place where only love, peace, and harmony can exist. For a lot of people, they're very adverse to wanting to be in a state of resonance where there's no suffering. They enjoy the conflict. They enjoy the grasping. They enjoy the samsara, push, pull. They enjoy the judgment. They enjoy the idea of being more righteous than another. So I encourage all of you to sit back and really contemplate that during this lunar cycle. And then from there, that's where the self-governance comes in, that you make this choice if you want to be in governance with your eternal being. That means no matter where you go from here to the next, that you're governing you, your eternal being. And when you step further and further into this space, you will remove yourself further and further from group think. You will become a warp or weft in the tapestry, the cosmic tapestry, and that contributing factor will be pure and clean because it's not trying to get entangled with ideology that is meant to manipulate the masses. That field can then hold steady, not just for self, but for all beings. And this is a practice, as I mentioned, it's a practice. So what does this look like before we go into meditation? One, I want you just to really acknowledge where your emotional body and the physicality tends to have the ability to become the dragon ride, meaning that you have highs and lows with this emotion or emotions, and it can become a runaway train pretty rapidly. Write those down. They might be 2, 3, 4, but just write down it's usually going to be 2 or 3 that come to your mind immediately. Might be 1. Write it down where you are ready to acknowledge that this thing keeps appearing and it's a distraction in your physical day. And then write that down. And this isn't just your main emotions. It can be sub things like anxiety. It could be, fear, all kinds of things that maybe aren't tied just to one thing, but many. But there's still an energy that keeps you distracted on a daily basis. Write them down. And then for those that aren't distracted on a daily basis, you want to ask yourself, do I know what it means to have an emotion? Because that's an important part of this. If you have kept your heart center protected and you don't have emotions, you want to learn how to experience your emotions first, contact me. I'm happy to start the process with you, or at least explain it to you and then point you in the right direction. And then from there, you'll know historically where your inner work is for this moment, this moment. So then once you have that, then this becomes the practice. And the objective here is to bring down that charge so it's manageable and it becomes like, oh, I'm frustrated right now, or I'm angry right now, but you're not yelling at the masses, right? You haven't like exploded. Your tea kettle hasn't gone off. Or your anxiety level is so high that you can't think. You need to numb out. You need to self-medicate. That's way out of balance. We got to bring it back down. So I want you to write those few items down where they are that really disturb your life right now. If they don't exist, check in and see, do I know how to have emotions? Do I acknowledge my emotions? Do I feel my emotions? And if not, send Suzanne a little note. And then from there, you're going to start to practice to bring that pendulum into balance. And there's many ways to do this. I can't list them all here, but you can write and ask me. Happy, explain what's going on for you. And then once you have those practices in place, it's up to you to do that. Turn in to yourself and any situations that are happening in and around you to encourage you to transform these emotional bodies that keep you from being in the resonance of emotional intelligence. And as I mentioned, there's a lot of people that don't want to give up suffering. So therefore, they perpetuate it. They like to suffer. It's okay. They will continue to do that until they don't. All you have to be responsible for is you. And so as you start practicing and bringing yourself into your own innate field and the intelligence that runs through you and all of us, you will have the stamina and you will start to have the clear vision to understand how to be in self-governance with self. And this requires one thing that's really important, and that is to really be objective in the 3D density that we are participating in. That you have the ability to observe without your emotional intellect, the programming that has held humanity hostage. You have the ability to observe with emotional intelligence, aka the divine. And from there, you will have those things with you: compassion, love, peace, joy. You will have the ability to be tolerant of each other as we all go through this transformation. So we will let all that wash away from here right now. And I welcome each and every one of you in this moment to prepare for our silent meditation. You're going to come up into an upright seated position. If possible, bring your back off the chair or the wall. Lift up that spinal column, and then gently from there drop your shoulders down. If your mind is historically busy, find a focal point down in front of you, and then take a nice gentle breath in and exhale out. Again, inhale. And exhale. Another one. Inhale. And exhale. And then gently from there, utilize your focal point and your breath as your mantra. And just gently dip into everything and nothing.
seen, it is beyond form. Look, it cannot be heard, it is beyond sound. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. Listen, it cannot be seen, it is beyond form. Look, it cannot be heard, it is beyond sound. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. it cannot be heard. It is beyond sound. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. Listen, it cannot be seen. It is beyond form. Look, it cannot be heard. It is beyond sound. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. Wait, it cannot be seen. It is beyond form. Look, it cannot be heard. It is beyond sound. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. Listen, it cannot be seen. It is beyond form. Look, it cannot be heard. It is beyond sound. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. seen, it is beyond form. Look, it cannot be heard, it is beyond sound. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. Listen, it cannot be seen, it is beyond form. Look, it cannot be heard, it is beyond sound. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling.
And gently from there, I welcome you to gently lean back and recline or move fully into Shavasana, a prone position on your back with your palms facing upward as we transition into receiving sound. As you settle in, just take a nice gentle breath into the heart and out. Again, inhale. And exhale. And one more inhale. And exhale. And then continue to follow your natural breathing pattern.
đô a hi rong a ne a hi đô nô a ne ve a hi a ne a ne ram a đô a ne a hi a đô a ni ram a đô a hi a hi a ne a hum a đô a hi a ram a ne a hi a ne a hi Josheyani Veyai Josheyani Voani Veyai Deyani Vayai Vaum O ai ai ane aum ane aum vo ane ai ane ai ano ai aum ane 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 ane
Taking a soft, gentle breath in and out of your heart center, gently breathing with all that is and is not. And when you're ready, you're going to move those fingers and toes and rise up, if you so to choose, into a seated position. Otherwise, remain where you are. And then gently from there, just allowing your natural breath to flow in and out. And gently, as you return your focus to my speaking voice, I want to remind each and every one of you this is a practice. And for some, during this lifetime thus far, their emotional body has been very wild, if you will. For others, it's been obsolete. And so this is where we can start to help each other out by reflecting stillness when one is on the wild dragon ride. They're observing that, and then inviting someone to turn in towards you when they close up into their crab shell or clam shell, whatever you want to call it. And rather than use the pinchers, using the voice to communicate, thoughtfully communicate. And I'll leave you with, once you determine where your work is, I'll leave you with one practice with others, is that we can have beautiful conversations with one another and talk about our feelings and our emotions, and I encourage that, and perspectives. Yet, I want to remind each and every one of you, if you can let go of attempting to control someone's language, their mental, emotional bodies, and their way they choose to take action, unless they are attempting to cause harm to themselves or others. When we give one another this freedom to hear what they have to say and give them permission to communicate and talk freely, something that has been systematically taken away from humans, but will be completely returned to all of you in the very near future. So how you can help that process is to really just create that space to allow each other to communicate, to emote, and to move into action for the benefit of all. And that will take self-awareness, because when we take awareness with our thoughts and our words and our action, it's not just about self, it's about others. It's about the whole. And if you're working on those items where you haven't mastered those feelings or emotions, you will be helping yourself and others, and have more of an understanding on how to do that for others, because you can relate And then from there, you will be the captain of your soul. You will be ready to embark on the next phase of this journey, this eternal journey, and have the capacity to start harnessing your mastery so it can carry over no matter what your form is in the next, that you can carry these tools into the future. In the present, you're refining and mastering, and you carry them over only when you organically master them. Not through binary systems, organically. You incarnated into a beautiful organic world system. And that is intelligence. That is the divine. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here in this moment. I love you all so deeply. I'm with you in my own emotional mastery and harnessing my emotional intelligence. I want to thank Kadri Scott, Dante Marino, Random Rab for your contributions. I want to thank you all again for being here, taking the space for yourself, making space for yourself. And we're going to exit out with Fields of Flowers by Kadri Scott. Until next time, this is Suzanne signing out with a full heart, a soft gaze, a deep bow, and a namaste.
The way your eyes feel on me makes me feel alright. And the way your mind dreams for me grabs me and holds me tight. So we dance along the Milky Way and stumbled on the stars and sway till the morning it comes. So I held arms for me, grabs me and holds me tight.